What you see behind me here is a passenger drone by a company called EHang. They're a Guangzhou-based company. They've actually got the green light from the regulators to start doing test flights. And I spoke to the co-founder a couple of months ago, and he told me that they're looking at perhaps 3 or 4 different test routes around the Guangzhou area this year and perhaps into next year. It's very interesting because we are, of course, talking about the future of transportation. And this is one of the means of transport that has been touted, not just by EHang, but also if you look at companies like Uber, they've talked about flying taxis as well. So it's certainly something top of mind. I mean, there are a lot of challenges with this kind of technology, infrastructure-wise. You've got to build out these helipads. How do users interact with it? Is it safe, of course, as well? But I do want to talk about the broader transportation market in China because it's a market that's seen huge growth in electric cars. That's been helped by government subsidies supporting the electric car makers and buyers of those cars. Those subsidies are slowly being taken away now. So it raises interesting questions about the fundamentals of the electric car market, what comes next. And I'll be catching up with a couple of the key electric car makers in China, WM Motors and XPeng Motors, later on today on a panel talking about the future. And I'll ask them a little bit about the electric car market in China as well. But we'll also be talking about driverless cars as well as these autonomous passenger drones. Driverless cars are seen as the future. A lot of companies from Didi through to Uber and some of the Chinese companies like Pony AI, who we spoke to yesterday, also are developing this technology as well. Again, a number of challenges, regulatory, infrastructure, now 5G networks are in place. What kind of impact will that have as well? So there's a lot to discuss about the future of transportation. But I want to ask both of you, Christine and Nancy, would you get in one of these?
Depends who's driving.
I mean, I would get in one if Christine was driving. Arjun, a different story. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, how far and how high are we flying? That's the thing. But I don't know. I'd like to see a few test runs before I get in, I guess.
Yes. And plan B, what happens if it stops flying halfway? What's plan B? What's plan B?
Well, we hope you can swim, I think, if it's flying over the river. That's the answer to that one. I mean, and this is all part of it. I mean, the reason I ask you that is because actually, you know, one of the challenges as well as infrastructure is consumer mindset. And I was speaking to a few people around our East Tech West conference as well, saying, well, would you get in a passenger drone that's flying autonomously? And I got mixed responses. Some were very excited about the idea. Some were like, I'm never going anywhere near something like that. And so actually, the challenges with this kind of technology, the likes of what Uber are developing, EHang as well, is trying to convince passengers to try it, trying to convince passengers that it's safe and trying to get them to go to. So that's, I think, along with all the other challenges from regulation to infrastructure, is changing the consumer mindset and getting people to take the risk.